Welcome back. This is Dan Havey with CF Ninja Hacks, and today we are going to take a look at Aisha. I think that's how she pronounces her name, or Aisha. We're gonna take a look at a question she had, and she basically wanted to know is how can she put an image as the background on a button, and that's exactly what I did right here. And in fact, what I did on this button is to give it an animated GIF as the background. So we're in the code, so let's just come over here and take a look at it. So here is the element itself, or at least the anchor text part of the element, and down here is the image that we put in, and it's just something I swiped somewhere off of the web. And so here is the GIF itself, and what we're going to do is we want to make this thing full width on the button no matter how wide the button gets, because you could have a flexible width button, so you just want to set it for one case. And in this case here, we also want to take out just the middle part. The bottom is a little too dark, and I just thought that the middle part was the part that had the best lightning on it. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go into the code itself. And it really couldn't be much simpler. So here we have our button element itself, the CSS ID selector for the actual button element, which is the outer element right here. And then we're going to target specifically the inner element, the anchor text part of that element. And so that's why we have the CSS ID selector followed by the A. Sometimes you can do it without the caret, sometimes not. So test that on your own. And then simply say here, background image, and then put in the URL of that actual GIF that we're using. Now, generally speaking, what I like to do is take your image, store it inside of ClickFunnels itself. So you have to have an image element on the page, and then go into the image element, go into the image library, load that image in there, and then you simply right click on it and you say copy the link address. At that point, you can take the image back off of the page and then just have that URL, and you would put that URL in here between, of course, these two singular quote marks. You could put in double quote marks, but I tend to use singular quotes on this. Then we're going to say here background size of cover, and let's go back into the page itself. It's a lot easier to work in here. So there are other things you can put in here, so we'll just take that out. You can do background size of auto, contain, cover, etc. If we do contain, see, you're going to see it in the middle there, and it's not going to spread all the way out to the edges because it is actually a pretty small image. It is only 480 pixels wide, and this element here is 577 pixels wide. So it should really fill up more of the space, but it doesn't, and that's okay. But so what we're going to do here, that's why I went with cover on here, is so that it covers the entirety of the element. And then also we don't want it to repeat. We could take this out and tell it to repeat, and it shouldn't actually make any difference now that I think about it. Yeah, that's right, it doesn't. So we can actually take out the repeat part of this because we've already done the cover, so it should take up the entirety of the box that is living inside of the element that is inside of. And then we can do center, or we could do, let's say, bottom on this here, and you don't really see anything because it's so dark at the bottom. And then we can go top on there, and then we're only seeing the very top of the clouds, but we'll put that right back into center. So as again showing us the middle of that storm cloud. And then that's really it for this one. So like I said, we can take out this line right here if we want. But now let's say instead of using this GIF, I mean, you can use obviously any image that you want, any image format that you want, that you could upload into the image library inside of ClickFunnels. But let's say instead we wanted to use a linear gradient. So let's just copy the linear gradient I have right here. And of course, you can use any one of the gradient tools in order to make this. And then you just copy that and you just put this in right here. And we go paste, and now we have this gradient. I just pulled this off of somewhere else, but we got this gradient for just two different colors. So it starts with that really pinkish color and then goes down to more of a reddish color. And of course, you can make your gradient go any way you want. And this, of course, also does not work just for buttons. It will work for any element. It could work for a text element. I guess it really wouldn't work for an image element because why would you put a background image on an image? But you could use it for a section background, a row background, a column background, anything you wanted. So I think that's it for today. If you got any questions, just let me know.